All righty, well, we knew it was coming one day, right? Yeah, it's the last scheduled update here for SnowTALK. Hello, everyone. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to the weather blog, which goes through many titles through the year, but this is always my favorite, is, of course, SnowTALK. Yes, it is a leap year day as well, and I'm doing okay. Thank you, Kathy, for asking. I appreciate that. And Adam, yes, slowly but surely catching up on my sleep. I'm getting there. All right, so to explain what I mean by all this, you guys that have been around for the blog for a while know that during the winter season, the core of the winter season especially, SnowTALK is the title of the blog on a near daily basis, even if there is no snow chance to talk about, which gets a little depressing. I understand snow lovers. And the exceptions would be if there's anything active on the warmer side of weather elements in case of storm talk, which that was certainly the case the past week or so. We had to deal with that. Actually, I think had to do it in December as well. Either way, does that mean that SnowTALK is done for the entire season in general? No, that does not mean that. It just means that now we're entering the time period where most of our topics are going to be more warm weather related. You can still get some cold shots of air, and I think this season will be no different coming up. And at times you get these little sneaky snow systems that do develop. They don't show up very well in the long range. They're relatively short in duration as far as when they appear in the data. And then we will have maybe an isolated SnowTALK over the next month, maybe month and a half. After that, I really doubt it. So otherwise, the title will begin as Storm Talk as we head into the first day of March for tomorrow. And that'll be the case majority of the time as we head into the summer. And I will do a summer recap or a winter recap. I usually do that toward the beginning of summer. This winter especially has got a lot of data to pour over to understand a lot of the balance between El Nino and how things evolve with the polar vortex and its relationship. There's a lot to be studied on this. This was a lot of new territory. So we'll be talking about that in the coming weeks ahead. Got a lot to cover in the meantime. Just though, if we're looking at the snowboard sake there, I do have an item on there. It's minor. It's mainly some flakes briefly tomorrow morning for some of you, especially north and west of Louisville. I felt weird not having anything on the snowboard for the last scheduled one. I at least have something, right? And it's a good thing the system's moving through because I was really starting to worry that I was going to have a blank board here, but it's minor. Not worried about it at all. Again, looking down the road, Travis, I already saw your comment. I know Travis is ready for another cold attack and some snow coming our way. And again, you're just not going to see it very well in the long range. And right now, the pattern is certainly much more against it for now until a little bit later. I'll explain here in just a few minutes. All right, let's talk about the setup today, though, because today it's actually really nice, beautiful out there. A lot of blue sky, just a few clouds into the distance, but a really nice, chilly. Yeah, it was cold and frosty. Morning low in Louisville dipped to 27. Had several teens. The coldest that I could find right now in our area was roughly about EF, or not EF, sorry. Angela, I just was reading your comment about a tornado, and I was thinking, okay, thank you. Appreciate that, Angela, for passing on about that tornado touchdown. All right, I'll look into that. A lot of temperatures roughly around 15 degrees down into Meade County. In fact, Meade County, you guys, once again, were one of the colder spots in the entire Commonwealth for this morning. So very cold and frosty for sure outside. So what is next? Well, today is nice. Easy going today. Not much in the way of wind to worry about. A lot of blue sky. I would say upper 40s to near 50. Not too bad. Our system of interest for tomorrow morning is down here in Texas. And I'll tell you what, boy, when you look at that, as a snow lover, you're like, ooh, boy, that would be really nice, right? If this were January, man, where was that? Where was that storm track at? That's a really good track to bring a snow event into wave country. But yeah, we do have the cold that's arrived in town today. That's the only reason why there was even a snow chance at all in the forecast. Otherwise, this is a relatively quick shot of rain scooting across the southeast corner of the country. Let me show you what it looks like on one of our in-house models. Again, fine today. Clouds will start to move in just to the point of sunset. So I do think we'll have a really nice sunset tonight. So get ready for that. Then we'll cloud up overnight, and then here comes the wave moving in. Now, tonight, the air is still fairly dry, so the thermometer will still drop down to near, and in many cases, just below the freezing mark, which sets the stage for tomorrow morning. As the wave moves on by, you can see on the northwest side of its track, there is certainly that snow showing up, that blue, mainly for Illinois into southwest Indiana, St. Louis. Very well could see some brief light snow, but even there, it's likely to stay above freezing. So it's something to look at out the window. Here in Louisville and Indiana, I do think there is a brief window. And boy, it is brief, guys. It is brief. I would say 6 to about 9 a.m., somewhere in that range, depending on where you're at across southern Indiana and around the metro. It is possible we could either get some sleet or perhaps some snowflakes that may try to form in the area. But we do warm the atmosphere fairly quick as this moves on by. So it's got a very short lifespan for anything that can try to fall on the wintry side, because eventually we are melting the snowflake as it falls, and it's a light rain, a steady drizzle in some areas, a little more of a heavier rain in southern Kentucky. I'm noticing a bit of a spike on rain totals that keep showing up, mainly south of parkways. It gets over 3/4 of an inch, a little closer to an inch, in fact. And it's mainly because after the wave passes by, there is this redevelopment that keeps happening over and over again across Kentucky after the initial wave. So your totals start to increase a bit more compared to, say, Indiana will be. So Indiana, it's only your morning shot of maybe some, again, brief wintry mix there. Otherwise, going to drizzle and you're pretty much done for the day. But Louisville and across especially central Kentucky, it may carry over all the way through the afternoon. Some showers will be taking place. And because of the showers around, it's not going to be warm overall. It's just warm enough to where it's rain. All right, we're talking about 40s and a light rain throughout much of the day. So yeah, Friday, first day of March, we'll be moving in like a lamb this year instead of a lion. Very, very tame and quiet for us. It's out of here, and we do cool down somewhat. Maybe some fog early in the day on Saturday. Otherwise, once the clouds do break up and the fog areas do clear out, it won't be a bad setup on Saturday. Of the 2 days between Saturday and Sunday, Sunday is your better of the two, as with it will certainly be the warmest, a little breezy, but a nice jump into the 70s by the time we head into the second half of the weekend. Almost similar to what we had last weekend, where Saturday was the cold day, Sunday was the somewhat warmer day. Similar, except not as cold for this Saturday and not as chilly even for Sunday. Both will be a little bit more on the higher on the scale as we head into this upcoming weekend. But overall, not too bad. Now, as we look into next week, there is a couple of waves that move by that do try to spike some rain chances. The first one will be a wave. It's actually a front passing across the northern part of the country, and we have a low pressure that will try to tag along on the southern part and form and move across areas of the southeast once again. But overall, it's not a very energetic system. Doesn't have a lot of moisture being pumped into it, enough time to cause a lot of worry there. But there could be some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. The target for this one would be Tuesday for early next week. And after it passes by, we do reset somewhat on temperatures, but nothing too dramatic. And then we have our next low that moves in. Now, this one looks like it's going to be a lot slower as it comes off the Rockies. And this is going to be roughly around the 8th through the 10th of March. This is also the same weekend, by the way, we spring forward on our clocks. We've set our clocks ahead 1 hour for this system here. Be moving through. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's the Lou City opener, right? Is on Saturday, the 10th of, or Sunday. Is it Sunday, the 10th of March? Or that's Saturday? I think it's that weekend. Either way, right now it looks like we'll have a system nearby. There will be a band of rain and thunder. I do not see anything really wild on the severe side with this one because it is so sluggish. It's very slow to move across the plains and eventually just kind of drifts off to the east. Much of your energy in the storm track overall between now and the first 10 days of March is going to be found with systems digging in more over and over again in the Rockies and heading through the plains into Canada, and then 1 or 2 weak systems in the southeast corner of the country, but nothing overly intense on any one of those. So that's good. That keeps our weather headlines kind of tame as we head down the road. Excuse me. So what about after this? Well, now we get into a lot of forecasting involving, of course, the countdown to the Great American Solar Eclipse. And we're 39 days away from it. And because once we get past the outlook I just showed you, we're getting into, mid to late March. We're getting into spring break time periods coming in soon. The eclipse happens on the Monday after spring break. A lot of schools just extend out their time off to keep it simple. And it will take place roughly starting. Partial eclipse will be happening during the 1 o'clock hour. The totality across Indiana will be roughly about 3:05 will take place for totality. And then all this should be back to normal sun again as we head into about 4:30 to 5 o'clock as we head into the afternoon on that Monday. So a wild day. And of course, you see the path right across eastern United States. Question, of course, will be the weather around here. And I'm going to go into a lot more detail on the eclipse and the weather element side of things over the next few weeks. We have a lot planned for you guys. So I'm excited for you guys to be part of the journey on this. And I hope you got your plans somewhat in place as we go through the next month, especially. But the path being, once again, in our backyard, see this twice within our region. And just 7 years is pretty remarkable. But the weather in April was a lot different than August. August 21st, 2017. I think it was 1:28 in the afternoon. Fairly easy forecast, to be honest, because around here, an August day usually means sunny in the morning, hazy, pop-up thunderstorms and cumulus clouds in the afternoon, and hot. Fairly easy setup. April the 8th, oh boy, that's different. We can get anywhere from snow to severe weather to sunshine like we got today. There's a potpourri of options here. But on the average on the storm track, the cloud cover percentage does tend to be a bit elevated and certainly a little higher the more north you travel, and certainly a little higher in an El Nino pattern that we are currently in. So you can see across Indiana where the majority of the totality will be. It's at over the 70% mark. In Kentucky, roughly about, I would say, 55 to 57%. That would be the average. So again, the odds are higher on a cloudy setup more than a sunnier setup. It's not all bad news. We all know the weather is not easy to keep a track on, even 24 hours out, let alone a month and a half out. So we'll be watching it. I did think it was fun to look over some of the data that's already starting to come in. This will change, but hey, we got to start somewhere and looking at the trends, right? And the long-term Euro for that week, and again, I don't have the particular day yet. It's too far out to get that specific. But during that time period around April the 8th, it is showing a colder than normal pattern. And this looks like cold, like 20s or something. You got to keep in mind our normals go quite high by the time we get into early April, especially compared to today. So cooler than normal, not to the point of where it's like crazy snow that I'm talking about, but it would be chilly, like 40s and 50s would be the general idea on temperature. If this were to be right on the Euro, and it does show a bit of a tick upward on the precipitation chance as far as it being cloudy and an active storm track in the southeast corner of the country. It'll change. It'll change. It always changes, right? So at least it's something we're watching just to give you an idea of how things are playing out. So is anyone going to the eclipse? Type 1 if you're staying here. Type 2 if you are going to totality. I'm curious how many of you are going to make that journey. The travel is going to be the big issue. I can tell you right now, travel, cell service, the signal, that is going to be so big, guys. It took me, I think, when I was coming back from Hopkinsville in 2017, about 9 to 10 hours to get home from the traffic. And we're already seeing estimates right now from even Seymour to get back toward Louisville could be close to 6 to 10 hours just to get home from Seymour. So the traffic is going to be absolutely significant on that. So again, more on that in the coming days. But a lot of folks be involved. All right, got a lot of ones, got a few two. Some of you are already in the zone already. So all you got to do is just go out the door, right? If you're in Scottsburg and North, you're in totality. So you don't have to worry about travel. So you are in a really great location. Adam, yeah, you're in Bloomington. William Shatner's coming to Bloomington, by the way. He's bringing the, the Blue, what was that? The Blue Origin? Was that the name of the space capsule? They're bringing it there to the campus at IU. Watching from my backyard, that's a good idea. Austin, avoid I-65 for sure. I totally understand. Yeah, it's certainly going to be a very wild setup as we enter early April. Again, more on that into the coming days. Real quick, before I end this final scheduled version of SnowTALK, I will say this. If there's any period that is standing out that does feature a colder setup that we need to watch in the month of March, the signal is showing up between roughly the 17th through about the 24th of March. That window is showing up where we could have a colder than normal setup. And if there's any last gasp that winter wants to try to throw at us, it will likely have to take place then. That's my hunch right now. We'll see if that holds as we get a little bit closer in time. All right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, I appreciate it. And as always, thanks for joining me on SnowTALK this season. It's not over completely, but yeah, for the most part, this winter was pretty much a big old dud, right? Appreciate you guys as always. Hey, I'll be on less than an hour on midday. Happy Elite Day.